Hey, Best Steel families, this is Coach Kevin, and I just want to let you know that I've looked at all the video from this practice that we had on Thursday. We videotaped the kids and their swings, and so I wanted to put up another video on YouTube to kind of walk you through the way that I'm going to be coaching the kids on the swinging part of their game this year, which is obviously a very important part. And also, I'm going to include some video footage of your son swinging the bat with a little bit of my analysis in there to give you some pointers, just to give you some things to work on there. So I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but as you're working with your son during the summer months, during the baseball months, if you work in the backyard, this will give you a video to go to so that you can see how we're trying to teach it. Obviously, we're not trying to create clones or robots. We don't want every kid to have exactly the same swing. Every kid is unique, and if they can hit the ball doing something different, that's great. My concern, I just want to make sure that we're setting them up for future success, just getting the basics down. So we'll just start with the first two things that we look for as coaches. One is the grip, and the other is the stance. And I'll go over those real quickly here with you. A lot of kids, when they grip a bat, they'll grip the bat deep in their palms down here, and they'll grab it and they'll hold on for dear life. You can almost see their knuckles turning white when they get up to the plate. Very easy to squeeze and get really nervous. And what we want to try to teach the kids is when you open your hands, the bat normally is going to rest here if you have it in your palms. What we want to try to do is get that bat so it rolls up to the bottom of the fingers. We want more of a finger grip, and what that's going to allow the kids to do is have a little more control of the bat head when it comes to the zone, and also they'll be able to tighten up when they hit the ball and create a little more power. So as you're working with them swinging, every now and then just say, hey, grip the bat, open up your hands. And what you want to see, and forgive me, my camera's flipped on me here, so I want to make sure I get this right. The bat should be at the bottom of the fingers, not buried deep in the palm. So every now and then just challenge them on that. It does feel a little different at first, but something that they can get used to. The second thing we worked on in practice was our stance. A lot of kids, when they stand up at the plate, they'll stand straight up, or you'll see a lot of kids bent over like this. What I tell the kids is you just want to have a natural athletic stance at the plate with the bat in your hand. One of the things we had them do was jump up in the air and then jump back down and try to get in the best balanced position that you could. So it would look something like this for the kids. They would jump and they would come down like this, knees bent, which I know you can't see them right now. But knees were bent and the slight bend at the waist. And if I turn sideways, you can see that. It's just like playing second base. You're not going to be all the way down here like you're getting a ground ball, but you're ready in a good athletic stance. No matter what sport you play, athletic stance is part of that. So grab the bat, have them get in an athletic stance, then put the bat in your hand. So when you're in your stance, again, slight bend at the knees, slight bend at the waist, but you don't want to be standing straight up. In some of these videos, I notice a lot of kids with their knees locked, and we evidently don't want that. So, slight bend at the waist, slight bend at the knees, and then next we'll work on the bat positioning. Sorry, real quickly, I just watched that previous section. I realized I forgot one very important thing, so I want to go over that. So, we have the stance, we have the grip. One thing we want to work on with the kids is their head positioning. We want to make sure that their head is straight up. One of the things I asked the kids during practice, I said, if you're laying down watching a TV show and something comes on that you really want to watch, what do? You sit straight up. Our eyes were designed to be straight, and that's how we focus the best on things. So when we're at the plate, when we have our bat and we're ready, we don't want to bend our heads in, because that's going to give us a little distorted view of the ball, and you have a lot of players doing this. So what we want to do is we actually need to physically turn our heads towards the pitcher, and one easy way to do this is just line your chin up with your shoulder. We don't want to be bent like this. We don't want to be lackadaisical and just kind of looking like this. You're really going to have to physically get in position and turn your head towards the pitcher so that both eyes are on the pitcher. So now we'll move on, but that's another very important part that we want to teach the kids this year. Okay, now that we've got the proper stance and grip, we're going to work on bat positioning to begin the swing. So what I would have you do first is have your son get in the proper, balanced, athletic stance. Make sure that they're there. Hand them the bat, have them put the bat on their shoulders, and to get that grip, the easiest way I found is just put it here, let them start with the bat in the base of their fingers, and roll their fingers around it and then place the opposite hand on. So start with the top hand and then put the bottom hand on. Make sure they can take a couple swings and it's nice and comfortable. So that's where we're going to start from. And the bat positioning to begin with, I want the batters as relaxed as possible. A lot of times kids will get up in the batter's box and before the pitcher's even ready, they're up there and they're really tight and their knuckles are turning white and they're so nervous. Really want the players to focus on just relax, smile, enjoy the opportunity you have to be in the batter's box. So we have your grip here, good stance, and when the pitcher's ready to deliver the pitch, we want the kids to get into a similar position. Like I said, we don't want to clone kids. We're not trying to take away their individual characteristics when it comes to their swing. I'm just trying to get the basics into them so that when they advance up through the stages, they have a good foundation. So we're simply going to have the kids get the bat back and up over that, have the handle up over that back foot. And the way to test this is very simple. Have them get into the position and then drop the bat straight down and it should touch their toe. So that's what we've been teaching. Also, hand position and elbow position is very important. You want your hands to be above both elbows, okay? So when you're back here, make sure this elbow isn't too high. Make sure the back elbow isn't too high. You'll hear a lot of coaches say, get your elbow up, get your elbow up. And that's in an attempt to get the kid to swing a little more level, but it actually works against them. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that the bat is above the back foot and that the elbows are below the hands. So this is your good starting stance. From here, we'll go into the trigger phase, which is where the hands will simply come up. We don't want the kids really to have a back motion. They're already in position to stride forward. So what we really want to focus on is getting that back shoulder up and getting the weight off the front foot. So again, bat over the back foot. Trigger phase, we're simply bringing the bat up, shifting weight to the back foot. One way I tested the kids on this was when they were in their triggering phase, I'd go along and slap their front foot and I should be able to move it a little bit. If it's pressed against the ground, it means not enough weight is put on their back foot. And again, this phase will last for a split second in the batting process. But here we are again. Here, trigger. Notice this hip came up and this shoulder came up. Nothing changed in my positioning with my arms. I still want my hands above my elbows. So again, here to here, here to here. We want the bat to have more of an upward motion rather than a back motion. If you go back too far, drop the bat, you'll notice you're a good 6 inches behind your back foot. So again, this is just stuff we've been working on with the kids. So we get from here, again, up, shifting the weight back. Make sure you don't collapse on that back leg. I've seen a lot of kids that will actually, when they shift their weight, you actually see them going down with their weight. And we want to try to get that out of their swing if at all possible. So again, here, when your weight shifts back, your body should shift up a little bit in the back, so elbow and hips. So sorry to talk so long on that. I just want to give you as many pointers as I can while you're working with your kids in the yard. And from here, we'll actually go into the part where we strike the ball. Okay, so now we've got the basic stance down. We've got our hand positioning and what we do as the pitch is coming in, which is called the trigger phase, or the loading phase, actually, as we'll call it. So now, what do we do from here? Well, what we teach the kids is when you come up off that front foot, again, it needs to be a little loose. You're going to plant it in about the same spot that you lifted it up in. A lot of kids will stride really far when they go to swing. And when you do that, you lose everything that you've done so far here. Okay? So we just want to teach the kids you're in a nice low position, up with the loading, and then back down with their foot, not taking a very big stride at all. Every kid's going to be a little different, but I would say no more than a few inches, if any. So back, up, weight back. Make sure you lift up with that back foot, up with the hands, and then you're going to plant. And again, make sure that you're not planting, the stride's not too far. And then you're going to bring your hands into the hitter zone. You'll hear a lot of coaches call it throwing your hands at the ball, getting your hands through first. And that's very important. And the thing we tell the kids is, and I'll turn sideways for this, but we want kids to remember that the swing doesn't actually begin with their hands. Their swing begins with their hip. So when you're in this position, if you're the pitcher, here's what you see. I come up for my loading phase, and then when I plant my foot, I'm actually going to turn my hips, and in real motion, this is going to be rather I don't want to say violent, but you want to turn the hips very quickly, okay? So you're here, this comes down, your hips turn, and one thing we want to try to teach the kids is to keep their upper section closed. What we don't want is their hips to turn and their upper body to turn with it, okay? We want the hips to come through a little bit first so that they create torque in the midsection, which is going to create a lot more power and a lot more bat speed. So again, you're here, up, plant that foot about where you did, and then fire your hips open, leaving the front half back, and then you throw your hands into the hitting zone at the ball, and then you come forward to make contact. Now, I don't know if you can see this. I have kind of a bad color shirt on to see this, but what we're going to try to teach the kids, if at all possible, is when they strike the ball, when they're here in this good position, a good position to strike the ball in is this arm flying forward, again, keeping that upper body closed. This arm, left arm, straightening out. This arm staying close to the body, and it's in this shape here. Kind of like you're flexing your muscle. Really close to your body. So you're here, arms come open, the front arm comes open. This one stays close to the body and in a 90-degree angle when you strike the ball. So when you actually strike the ball, the left arm and the left leg for a right-handed batter is going to be straight, and the right leg and the right arm will be flexed. And one thing you can do with your child to prove this to them is have them stand up straight, have them hold both arms out straight, and grab the bat and tell them to resist you. And they won't be able to resist you very much with straight arms. But then get this bat out front, have them form a fist back here, okay, and get in that good position, and then have them resist. Have you resist them and have them try to push against you. They'll have a lot more strength. So what we're trying to do is get to the point was when you actually come in contact with the ball, again, hands above the elbows, create the torque in your hip first, get the bat into the hitting zone, you come through, and when you make contact with the ball, you want that to be at the moment when you have the most strength. And again, we're going to try to work on this, and the front arm and the front leg. And then a good follow through is going to bring the bat, if I'm the pitcher, we do not want to come through and hit and then roll off the pitch. A lot of kids will do that too. They'll make contact and then kind of come up. What we want to try to teach the kids is stay here, up on the load, down, twist the hips, create that torque, bat through the zone, okay, make contact, keep that bat going forward, and we really don't want to roll over our wrists until that bat is past or about pointing at the pitcher. So you get here, and then you can roll off, okay? So again, from the beginning, good stance, bat on the shoulder, good grip, nice and relaxed. You're playing baseball, you're having fun, okay? You're the boss at the plate. Get that bat into a good hitting position, which is right over that back leg. When it's time to load up, you simply up with the bat, up with your shoulder, up with your hips. You start, you plant back down, not very far from where you started. You start the swinging motion with your hips, bringing the arms through the hitting zone, making contact at the point where this arm is straight, this arm is flexed, back leg is flexed, back leg is flexed, front leg is straight. So again, here, come through the zone, make contact, follow through, pointing the bat at the pitcher until you roll off of it, and then a good follow through. So again, I know there's a ton of opinions on batting. You ask 10 different coaches how they teach it, they'll tell you 10 different things. But for this season, we're going to try to keep things simple and also create the best formula, I believe, for success as they move up the ranks in baseball. So sorry this took a lot longer than I thought it did, but I hope it gives you some pointers. And again, I will follow through with some videos of your son batting and any suggestions I may have. So have fun, enjoy the time with your son working on their batting skills.